going live. Hang on a second. Oh, okay. Preparing to live stream. Should be ready in a minute. Okay, you can see it says live on YouTube. Can you see that in the top left-hand side of the screen,
Yep.
Kevin?
Yes. Okay.
Okay, we're good.
Okay. We're ready to go ahead, Jerry, whenever you are, to start the regular, to reconvene for the regular meeting from the July 1, 2020 meeting.
Okay, thank you very much, Kevin. Welcome to we're reconvening our meeting from July the 1st, 2020. In attendance, we have Councilman Kelly.
Here.
Councilwoman Simrel.
Present.
Councilman Cruciani.
Present.
Councilman Mitchell.
Here.
Councilman Jenkins.
Present.
Councilman Shields.
Present.
Mayor Johnson.
Present.
Our Borough Manager Kehoe.
Here.
And our Solicitor Hayes.
Here.
We're going to be voting this evening on Resolution 2020-12, our Sheridan Avenue. Everybody should have received all the documentations on this. And we will need a motion to approve the Resolution 2020-12. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 2020-12 on the Little League Park, sale of the Little League Park.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jenkins. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mr. Shields. On the question,
Madam President, could I just provide an explanation of for the public what the resolution that is before council?
absolutely.
Okay, so the resolution before council tonight is authorizing the council president to execute the agreement of sale to finalize the transaction between the Borough of Clark Summit and Abington Development Group. As council and members of the public may recall, in February of 2019, Borough Council accepted the bid that was submitted by Abington Development Group in the amount of $190,100. Over the last year, there were some issues in clearing up the title related to that property. We had to file an action to quiet title and have some parcels of land conveyed back to the borough from Lackawanna County that were claimed by the county as part of a tax because of the delinquent taxes. In any event, what's before council is will allow the council president to execute an agreement of sale and close on the transaction, which is scheduled to take place on Monday, August 3rd. The only thing that is different now is that we are no longer going to maintain possession of a 10 by 10 park area, as it's been determined that the memorial that was created in honor of Lance Corporal David Parker was an appropriate recognition of his service to our country, and then another memorial would not be necessary. In addition, there is an encumbrance that was discovered on one of the parcels, which the developer has agreed to still take the property, and we are going to we're going to maintain possession of that lot, which has an encumbrance. So that's the only thing that's different. All the material terms of the agreement are what was approved, and that's most importantly, that the transaction is for $190,100.
Kevin, this is Vince. I have a question for you. On the parcel that we are retaining, do you readily have the ballpark size of it?
Yes, it's approximately 25-foot encroachment on lot 272.
Are we retaining all of lot 272 then?
Yes.
Is there, just for future council consideration, that could be an area to consider for some form of conservation space or a small pocket use area, just food for thought, so it doesn't get, only part of that is essentially adversely possessed, correct?
That's right. And whether or not the property owner who erected a duplex on that parcel improperly, whether or not he has it by way of adverse possession, I'm not going to get into that tonight, but in any event, the developer is not interested in taking that parcel because of that issue. So in reality, he's getting less than what he originally offered to pay in terms of acreage.
Thank you.
But I could tell you right now, it is it's a 25-foot encumbrance on a 25-foot lot. So he's not interested in taking that lot.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
We have a motion and a second, so you can
All
do
in
a vote.
favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, we have it 7-0. Thank you very much. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Madam President, before we adjourn, I'd like to make a statement. This is Councilman Cruciani.
Oh, no, we're going into our regular work session, Vince's.
Right, but Madam President, I'm not going to be attending the work session.
Oh, okay. Fine. Then. Go ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Madam President, for allowing me the opportunity to make this statement this evening. This is Councilman Vince Cruciani. It's been an honor to serve this borough for the last 6.5 years as a councilman, but due to a change in my living location, my seat will be vacated as of tomorrow, as I will no longer have my primary residence in the borough of Clark Summit. I'd like to take a moment just to thank a few people that I've had the chance to work with over the last 6.5 years and make a very brief statement. First and foremost, I'd like to thank you, Madam President, for your leadership over the last 6.5 years, for the unquestionable deep care that you have for the borough of Clark Summit, and for allowing opinions to be heard by all sides when you presided over borough council meetings. I've also had the chance over the last 6.5 years to serve with Councilman Jenkins, who has demonstrated a level of fiscal responsibility and common sense that all residents should be proud to have him on council. I'd like to thank Virginia Kehoe and her team for their leadership running the everyday administrative functions of the borough. I'd like to thank Kevin Hayes and before him Pat Rogan for their excellent service as solicitors to the borough and the great advice they've always been willing to give council. I'd like to thank Dave Thorne and the DPW for their excellent work keeping our borough in top shape. I'd like to thank Chief Yarns and the rest of the police department for protecting our community and for working with council over the last 6.5 years. And I'd like to thank the fire department for keeping our community safe in many ways. Over the last 6.5 years, I've got to witness some great accomplishments. We paid off Grandview Street debt a 1.5 years early, working together as a council and saving $250,000. As we witnessed tonight, we've divested properties that weren't being used and that could be put to more efficient use in the borough. We've also obtained properties that we put into conservation land to help keep green space in our borough. I've tried over the last 6.5 years to reduce the role of government in people's lives where I felt it could be reduced. Sometimes I succeeded, other times ordinance came up, and when they did, I tried my best to narrowly tailor them to limit the use of government's involvement in people's lives so that they could choose their own path and their own destiny without too much interference. The balance of economic efficiency and regulatory ordinances is an important task of council, and one that it was a real honor and privilege to be able to engage in during my term and a half. The greatest challenges that I see are the borough facing, a borough that my parents still live in, are unfunded mandates from the state and federal government imposed upon the local governments. And I highly recommend the citizenry make themselves aware of them, and that council make itself very aware of the deep economic impacts this can have on our taxpayers. The greatest opportunities I see are the consolidation of services and of bodies at the municipal level, whether that be authorities made up of multiple municipalities or a consolidation of municipalities, the latter of which I think is the real answer. It needs to be done so in a way that increases rather than attenuates accountability of the elected officials to the citizenry. I admire all of you for serving on council, especially during this challenging period of COVID. We all know that it is not the 7 of us on council that is going to bring us through this, but it is going to be the strength of our citizenry, of whom we are stewards of their municipal government while we serve. For those who are going to run for office or who are interested in filling the seat that I will vacate tomorrow, please understand that the seat you are filling is one where the primary concern is that of running a municipality. It isn't one of grandstanding about politics on the national level or about talking about issues that aren't pertinent and that are divisive that may be contained on a state and national level. It's about working with the 6 other people that you sit at the council table with, who will be a broad spectrum of political beliefs, and finding ways to tackle the challenges that the borough of Clark Summit faces, because that ultimately is our primary duty as council members. I want to thank the residents of Clark Summit for having the trust in me to serve as a council member for the last 6.5 years. It has really meant the world to me to be able to serve in that capacity. And as I move out of the borough, may God bless you all and the borough of Clark Summit. Thank you, Madam President. I appreciate it, and that will be my final statement, as I will no longer reside in the borough tomorrow. And since I will no longer be a councilman, I find it inappropriate to sit on council for future matters that I will have no input in. So I will be leaving the meeting.
Okay, well, on behalf of all of council, Vince, we want to wish you all the luck in the world in your new residence and your new township, and always keep in touch with us. You are a real asset to our council, and hopefully we'll have someone that can fill your shoes and do a job as well as you have. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. Have a good evening, everyone.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks, Vince. Good luck.
Good
Thank you, Vince.
Thank you.
Good luck,
Thank you.
Vince.
Okay, we're going to go into our regular work session now. First thing on our agenda.
Jerry,
Oh,
we
yeah.
need to adjourn the regular meeting first.
Oh, excuse me. Okay. Do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting from July the 1st?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna open up our work session now. First, we'll do our roll call. We have Councilman Kelly,
Here.
Councilman Simrel, Councilwoman Simrel,
Present.
Councilman Mitchell,
Present.
Councilman Jenkins,
Here.
Councilman Shields,
Present.
Mayor Johnson,
Present.
Borough Manager Kehoe,
Here.
and Solicitor Hayes.
Here.
Thank you. First item on our agenda is our public comment. Virginia, do we have any?
We had none.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda is we have Shannon Brown, who is our representative on SAPA, who wants to do an update on what he's been doing with the SAPA. So if we can bring Shannon Brown on.
Are you
and-
doing that, Kevin?
He's no longer in our waiting room. I don't see him.
I still see him. I got him. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Here.
There he is.
Hi, Shannon. Hang on.
Hello.
Okay, Shannon,
Oh, good evening.
you're up.
How is everybody this evening?
Fine.
Oh, I'm
Good.
starting already? Okay, I'm
Yes, sir.
Shannon Brown. For some of you who are new to council, I sit on the borough's planning commission. I'm also one of the two appointed members, along with Councilman Jenkins, that's appointed to the SAPA steering committee. Tonight, I just wanted to give a little bit of background and an update on what's been happening with the SAPA process. The SAPA stands for the Scranton Abington's Planning Association. And Clark Summit Borough is a voluntary member of that group, along with currently 9 other municipalities in the area. It goes from the Dunmore, Scranton, South Abington Township, Clark Summit Borough, Clark's Green, Waverly, Newton, West Abington, and Dalton are currently the contiguous members of that group. And the group was started about 2006. And interestingly, it was started by Denise Prowl, who is a resident of Clark Summit Borough. She's still actively involved in the SAPA steering committee projects, and she really deserves a tremendous amount of credit for getting the SAPA process off the ground. Where we stand, the SAPA process so far has really consisted of 2 phases. Phase 1 was completed back in about 2010 through 2012, and that was developing for all of those municipalities what is called a multi-municipal comprehensive plan. And this is available, I think you can probably see it a little bit here at the Clark Summit Borough office. It's something that I think all of the council members would find very handy. A lot of really solid information in there, and it is adopted or was adopted by Clark Summit Borough as part of the policymaking document for the borough back in roughly 2012, 2013 is when that was adopted. Fast forward, it's taken a little bit longer than was anticipated, but we're now in phase 2 of the SAPA process. And phase 2 is revising the zoning ordinances in the respective communities in order to be consistent with that comprehensive plan and with the development patterns in the communities. Right now, Clark Summit's zoning ordinance is a little over 18 years old. From my background, that's ancient. It's been updated, it's been modified, it's been adapted, but really it's been 18 years since there's been a comprehensive update to the Clark Summit Borough, and some other municipalities that are part of the SAPA project are in the same boat. So about 2 years ago now, DCED, which is the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania's Department of Community and Economic Development, issued a grant to all of these municipalities to fund a substantial part of the revision to the zoning ordinances. Each of the municipalities also put in an amount into that pot in order to make this happen. But
Really, without that grant, Clark Summit Borough would have been paying at least 6 to 10 times what we've paid so far with this project. So by being participating with the SAPA project, we're really saving taxpayers a significant amount of money for something that needs to be done anyway in order to stay compliant. And also we were able to hire probably a much better consultant. The consultant that's been working with the SAPA project in all the municipalities is EPD, Environmental Planning and Design. They're based out of Pittsburgh, but they work a lot here in Eastern Pennsylvania, down the Lehigh Valley, Lancaster County area, and up in this area as well. We've been, as a SAPA committee, extremely happy with the consultant. They've done some innovative things for us that really most other consultants really would not have the technology or the capability to do what EPD has done. So I gave a presentation in January, just a very, very quick overview to where we were in that process. We were all gung-ho, ready to go. Everything was supposed to be implemented by June 30th, and then COVID-19 hit. And everything understandably ground to a halt at that point. I just want to update the council that the SAPA steering committee that Councilman Jenkins and I sit on, we will be meeting for the first time on August 11th to kind of regroup, to say what's next. What DCED did was they granted a 1-year extension to this project. So we have until June 30th of 2021 to get this project done. I know that sounds way, way, way in the future. We have plenty of time. But I really urge that we stay fixed on the schedule, because there's a lot of work that needs to be done particularly from the council's perspective. There are mandatory deadlines and guidelines for that the Commonwealth requires. So really that 1 year is really about 4 to 5 months of real time in order to get this project done. Back in May, when the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania allowed municipal groups to start meeting again, the planning, before I get to that, the Borough Council delegated a substantial part of this project to the Borough Planning Commission. So the Borough Planning Commission has been doing a lot of the heavy lifting behind the scenes in order to get the draft ready for the new zoning ordinance to present as a recommendation to Borough Council. We did not rest on our laurels. As soon as the Commonwealth permitted these online type meetings, we started meeting as a planning commission. Even though the project was officially delayed, we were meeting in order to get our act together so that we could get something to you as quickly as we can, so that you have additional time in order to do the evaluations. We have met as a planning commission, by my count, at least 9 times, including a lengthy Saturday morning session that we've done. We've put probably, in meeting time, as of the 3-hour meeting last night, we crossed over 20 hours of just meeting time. That does not include the homework time that every one of the planning commission members has put into this, plus also special projects time that has gone into it. So a significant amount of time has gone into evaluating this, going line by line through the documents. They're pretty extensive documents. The draft is about 160 pages long now, and it also includes some additional appendices that we need to go through in order to make sure that they're consistent. So I do want to emphasize to council, I am not taking any credit for this myself. Those of you who know me know I am not that kind of person, but I do want, particularly for those of you who are new, to understand that the Planning Commission has been spending a tremendous
tremendous amount of time to get this or to keep this on track and to be able to get this to you as early as we can. We, however, after 9 meetings and 20 hours of meetings from May till July, hopefully you will understand we decided to take August off. We're going to take a little break. We'll still have homework and stuff like that. We do not anticipate meeting in August unless there's some other purpose for the Planning Commission. But we're hoping to come back in September, finish up our edits and get them back to EPD. Also, by that time, the SAPA Steering Committee will have met on August 11th. So Councilman Jenkins and I will be able to report back to Council and the Planning Commission, probably some new rough deadlines for carrying this project forward. So everything should work out. But quite honestly, we've put a lot of time into it. We're probably 95% or more there. And there are some final things that we just needed some time to think about before we move forward with getting the edits to EPD so that they can get a draft available that you'll be able to take a look at. That's basically the presentation and the update that I have. I feel a little awkward about this because I don't like talking about myself, but I have to say to the Planning Commission or to the council members, your Planning Commission, my background, well, I can cover my background then a little bit, but I have a lot of familiarity with this. Virginia's work, who goes quietly unrecognized and unnoticed, she has done a phenomenal amount of work with this. We had 158 action items. She has kept all of that coordinated for us. We have put a lot of time into this, but I have to say that John Durden, who heads your Planning Commission, for those of you who don't know him, I would really encourage you to reach out to him. John is an engineer by background, but don't hold that against him. John is really an excellent leader, has been developing a lot of consensus on the Planning Commission, has been providing important leadership, and really he's works at Highland Associates. He brings an enormous amount of engineering knowledge and a lot of firsthand knowledge of these issues to it. And the rest of the council members, Ed Yazinskis, the guy's the Wikipedia of Clark Summit. I don't know how he knows what he knows, but he brings enormous amount of institutional knowledge to. John Kazista is the former zoning hearing board chairperson. He brings an enormous amount that if we mess up as the Planning Commission, here's where it hits the proverbial fan. He brings that to the table. And Carol Rubel, who's just been appointed, she has jumped in with both feet, and all of those people have done an enormous amount of work for getting this. I know I'm being repetitive there, and Mike Kelly, the solicitor for the borough. This is not somebody that has stood in the sidelines. He has read everything, provided advice on it, and has also done the analysis on it. So I really want to give all those people credit because they really have been spending, in my opinion, way over and beyond what a normal planning commission does. I've sat on planning commissions before. I'm embarrassed to say this, that really, quite honestly, were people just filling seats. That is not the Planning Commission that you have here. And I would probably rank them, quite honestly, with my background stuff, they're probably in the top 5 or 10 in the Commonwealth. Absolutely, for communities our size. There's no question about that, that assembling that kind of talent would be very difficult. So I just want to give credit to them because they've patiently been going through this over the past, we've been working on it now for 2 years. And again, Virginia and Jen have been right there at all the meetings doing an extraordinary amount of work as well. So that's pretty much what I have. I've probably forgotten some things, but if you have any questions for me, I'd be more than happy to entertain them.
Well, I have no questions for you whatsoever, Shannon. I think you have covered every single base to be covered. We are most grateful to have you on our SAPA and also on our planning. So just continue doing the wonderful job you're doing. You really make this borough very proud. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Shan.
Shannon, will you be circulating the current version of the plan for the members of council to review?
When we get those updates applied to it, that probably won't happen until September. That will be the version that we would do it. There are some errors on there, some obvious type things. There are some mistaken things that were put in there. Right now, it would probably be premature and really waste everybody's time. I don't know if anybody wants to sleep very well. If you really like to sleep, for some of you, this might be the thing to read. But is that okay, Council or Solicitor Hayes? Yeah.
My only consideration is that it's a large document, and we're ultimately going to have to approve it so that all the members of council understand the far-reaching effect of it, which I think the council is generally supportive of, but there are going to be certain restrictions, zoning restrictions that are going to be in play, that they're going to be imposed because of this plan that weren't previously, that aren't currently imposed. So I just want to make sure everybody understands that.
Yeah. And that's why we've been pushing so hard as a planning commission to get the other municipalities, to the best of my knowledge, have not been meeting at all. When everything was kind of shut down back in April, to the best of my knowledge, none of the other municipalities have met about this. So we really are probably 5 to 6 months ahead of the other municipalities at this point. And I will say that there will be changes. The reality is that, and hopefully we can have a good dialogue at that time. The reality is, when this thing hits council for Clark Summit Borough, that's basically a built out community, there really isn't going to be that much of a change. The zoning district names will change. There are some minor, just consistent with those names, there are some minor changes maybe to the zoning map, but really, quite honestly, there's not a lot that will be, there are no major, in my opinion, or huge changes to anything. And I should have said, and this is one of the things I did forget, that one of the advantages, as DCED is telling us, of this process of being involved in a multi-municipal initiative is that those participating municipalities no longer need to comply with the general rule that every municipality must accommodate every possible use. So there are some things that, for example, Clark Summit Borough no longer needs to accommodate a landfill. Practically speaking, we don't have the room for it, but we never know what's going to happen. Nobody thought 8 months ago that our country would be shut down either. So you never know what's going to happen. But I should have made that clear, that there are advantages, according to what DCED is telling us, to be involved in this multi-municipal effort that really work to Clark Summit's advantage.
Also along that same line, Shannon, I think the council members need to know that because of the work that the SAPA group are accomplishing, that everyone will be basically on the same page when it comes to the ordinances and the writing that's going to be in the SAPA brochure. That if you go to South Abington or if you go to Dunmore or Scranton, our lineup, our glossary of items will be the same as what theirs is. The only difference being it will be pertinent to what's going on in our borough rather than what's going on in the city of Scranton or in the borough of Dunmore. However, the lineups will be the same so that everything will be in conjunction. So they're much easier to read if you happen to go to another area. And we would have had to do this anyway, because I think it's recommended at least every 10 to 15 years that you do go through this. And that's what we had. I think it was Helfrich that did it a number of years ago for our borough, and redid all the zoning and the planning at that time. So it's something that is an ongoing process that we would have had to do anyway. However, as you said, Denise and yourself took the ball and ran with it, and we're very happy and very pleased with the work that you guys have done, and that the whole committee has done it. It's definitely been a group effort, and we're very, very pleased to be part of that group.
Well, thank you, Councilman. The only drawback to that is, and I should probably tell council, this is not in my role in Clark Summit, but I was just also appointed to the Lackawanna Luzerne County Joint Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee and also the Transportation Study. And the good part, that's not in my capacity here with the borough, but the good part about that is that we are able, the things that we are seeing in the SAPA project are not being raised by me. These are being raised by DCED's participation in those bigger projects. And this really is something that we are, to the best of my knowledge, the largest multi-municipal project that has been done in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And a lot of other areas in the state are looking at this as a model for how to move things forward. And I can tell you right now, at the public meeting that we had with the Lackawanna Luzerne Comp Plan Steering Committee, we had a public meeting. This was talked about, and it didn't come from me. It came from those, the joint comp plan for 2 counties saying we need to be looking at what's happening in Clark Summit Borough and these SAPA related processes moving forward.
Great. That's good. That's a nice pat on the back for the SAPA committee in general, I think.
Yeah.
And along with everybody, Virginia and Jennifer and the whole group. I mean, it's been a cooperative affair. There's no doubt about it.
Thank you. Are there any other? Thank you, Councilman Jenkins. Are there any?
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Brown. My name is Bob Shields. So I just thank you so much for all your service with the Planning Commission. I guess you guys you've met 9 times in over 20 hours, so it sounds like you've been working very hard. So I guess there's a zoning ordinance, and right now you guys are fine tuning it pretty much.
What happened was that, yes, that's partially true. There currently is a zoning ordinance in place from 2012. I can tell you as a member of the Planning Commission, and I don't mean any offense by this, I can tell you it is extremely hard to work with. It's been amended when we turned those documents over to EPD about 1.5 years ago. I had 270 some amendments, documents, changes, and things like that. So the one we have now really, from a practical perspective, is not very workable. What happened was we went through a number of different exercises in both the steering committee and the municipalities. That occurred last summer. That feedback and information went into EPD, the consultant, took that information, aggregated it, weeded it out, found commonalities between the municipalities, and presented us with a first draft zoning ordinance. So that's really where we stand right now. That first draft, well, technically it's the 3rd draft, but the steering committee got to see some very early, very rough drafts of it. This is a draft that our exercise as the Planning Commission is to take a look at that, to take a first look at it and say, yeah, there are spelling errors, there are definitions that are incomplete, there are inconsistencies in the document. It's a big document. Things may not be covered from Clark Summit Borough. We've gone through and put together, I think it's 158 action items to have EPD update that draft to get it to you as quickly as we can.
So they'll review it and then it will be reviewed by the state or just the consultant?
The consultant reviews it. DCED has been very actively participating with this, and they will review all the zoning ordinances. They don't have, I don't want to offend anybody. I mean, to the best of my knowledge, they don't have any anything more than persuasive authority or anything like that. It's not like it needs to go before the Commonwealth or anything like that to approve it, so to speak.
And there's nothing we can do to help you in the meantime. We just have to wait for the final draft to be approved, and you'll make the Planning Commission will make the recommendation.
Yeah. And we're not trying to be evasive. Again, we as Clark Summit Borough are probably at least 5 months ahead of everybody else for this. So we're hoping to get you something in September. It'll depend on how long it takes EPD to get to turn around. once you see it, I think you'll say, oh, that's why, they did a first pass with the drafts and stuff, because there are a lot of appendices that go with it. We had to go through and make sure all the setbacks were correct, all the, the lot coverages, which is unique to Clark Summit Borough, the impervious surface stuff. I mean, there was a lot of stuff we had to go into. Right now, if you took a look at it, you'd just be duplicating things that have already been obviously removed or taken out because they shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your work, and please thank the other members of the Planning Commission for all they're doing.
Thank you.
I apologize for stepping in and out of the meeting, but I left my sunroof open in my car.
Oh, no.
Oh my goodness, it is raining out. I didn't realize.
Yeah. And also got my awning over my deck. I had to go and put that up.
Well,
I thought I was gonna get blown to Kansas. So
well,
yeah,
I want
really
to.
looking out there.
Yeah, I want to thank you for doing that because we desperately need the rain. So it just took somebody leaving their sunroof open during a meeting in order to trigger that. So thank you for the rain.
Even though I have bucket seats, that doesn't help. Thank you very much, Shannon, for all your
Thank all of you.
good work.
Yes, thank you, Shannon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shannon.
Thank you.
Especially because it looks like we took you away from a moonlight stroll along the beach.
It does look pretty impressive. That's out of Hillside Park. No, I'm just kidding. I am going to leave the meeting now if that's okay, but thank all of you
All
for
right.
your hard work with this as well. And
Thank
patience.
you.
Thanks, Shannon.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
very much. Okay. Okay, the next item on our agenda is our bids and quotes, and I'll let Virginia.
Right. We had the bids last month for the manhole repairs. We had two separate projects, one in state roads, one in borough roads, and they came in too high. Rather than doing sealed bids, the engineers were sure that we were going to be able to get bids in the range to qualify for the telephonic bidding, which is 21,000 or less. So we rebid it on that try. We got 4 bidders for each of the projects. So the first one, manhole rehab 1, which is the borough roads, not the state roads, the manhole repairs in the borough roads. The first bid we have is from a company called Mr. Dirt out of Towanda. Their bid is $24,100. The next bid is from MHW Construction. Their bid is $20,450. The next bid is from Lindy Construction. Their bid is $29,310. And the last bid is from TSC. And their bid is $19,600. So we do have bids that came in under the minimum threshold, or the maximum threshold, so we are good. We will review these with the engineer. We'll make a recommendation next week. Now,
Virginia, who was that after MR Dirt for the 20,450?
MHW Construction, Matt Williams.
Oh,
He's
okay.
done a lot of work for us. Okay, the next set is for the state rehab. The first one again is Mr. Dirt or MR Dirt. Their bid was $60,400. The next bid is again from MHW Construction, $29,300.
Wow.
Yep. The next one is from Lindy, and it is $40,540. And the last one is from TSE, and it is $19,900. So yeah, this is normal. They go all over the place. I am going to review these bids with the engineers and get recommendations out to you guys for our vote next week.
So Virginia, with regard to the second set of bids, those weren't public. That wasn't publicly bid, but those were telephonic.
They were
bids.
solicited telephonically, yes.
So that can't. I mean, because if it's over 21,000, it has to be.
We did
publicly
have
bid.
one that came in under, so if we can accept that one, if it's qualified, then we're good, because it was not, the last one was 19.9. So we did get under the 21 threshold on both of them.
Where's this company at, Virginia? TFC?
TSC is out of Dixon City.
They're previously Valvano Construction.
Ah, thank you.
Or they're related to Valvano Construction, I guess.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
All right, it goes to the engineer now for his recommendation.
correct. And I'll have the recommendation to you guys for our meeting next Wednesday.
Okay, all right, very good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Virginia. Appreciate all that good information.
Carrie, a suggestion, we don't have an item on our agenda for this, but with Vince giving his notice effective tomorrow, maybe we should take a minute and talk about what actions we want to do to fill his seat, because we're going to have till the end of August to do it.
Okay, this puts us in a position that we will advertise for the position on council. And anybody that has previously applied, we will get in touch with them and ask if they want to be reconsidered for the new seat that's opening up.
So, Madam President, because it's not a resignation, it's what Councilman Cruciani has reported to us is that effective tomorrow, he would be ineligible to serve on council because of the residency requirement.
Correct.
So tomorrow will trigger the 30-day period. So what my recommendation would be is we have to fill this vacancy by August 29. Why don't we plan on using our August work session as a special meeting to do the appointment?
Okay.
I'll make that a motion. Can we make it a motion now?
No.
No,
Or we're in the work session now, right?
right.
Right, so we can't take
Okay,
official
all
action,
right.
but that's what I would recommend.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Okay.
Yes,
So,
would we use the same procedures in getting applicants for selection, or that we can discuss at the next meeting?
So what, that's up to the council, however you want to proceed. I think we should obviously advertise that there's a vacancy so we can get the most, the broadest group of individuals to apply. And then I would recommend we do an interview process. Now it's up to the borough council whether you want us to re-interview those folks who already went through that process previously.
Well, we have to give them the courtesy anyway, Kevin, to see if if they're still interested, correct?
Right.
Right, but
Well,
we
not
don't
only-
necessarily have to interview them again.
The only thing I would say though is,
I would think so too, Virginia.
well, the only thing I would say is I was not a member of council then.
That's
So
right.
I don't know if.
That's right. That's a good point.
Ah, you're right. You didn't
And I'll ask-
participate in those.
And to Josh's point, we would ask him, I will have different questions, obviously, than the ones we asked
Sure.
last month, because
Sure, in all fairness to Josh too, it would behoove us to interview everybody again, just to see how, I mean, it could have been somebody had a bad day, hence they gave a bad interview. And maybe the next time around they'll have a better day and they'll give a better interview. That happens, right? That happens. You know, I mean, we've all had the situation where we've just given a rotten interview and you want to correct it. So this would be the opportunity. And then just put it out there put it on the website. I think the term is going to be for what, am I incorrect by saying 15 months?
so it would be it will be till January of 2022. So they would have to
2022.
either,
Okay.
unless they stood for re-election and were elected and then sworn in January of 2022.
Okay, so it's 15 months then, or is it 16 months?
17.
17? Okay, all right,
Yeah.
okay. I think we need to put
Oh,
that,
actually, you're right. It's going to be 16 because they wouldn't be included in August We won't
Right.
vote on them till the end of August.
Till the end of August, yeah.
Right.
Okay. All right. So maybe put that in the advertisement too, that it would be for a term of 16 months to fill the unexpired term. And then everybody would have a better idea of what direction they want to go in. So, and then Josh will get to participate in his first real live interview without a mirror.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll go on Kevin's recommendation there, Virginia.
I'll get started on it tomorrow.
Okay.
Kevin, do we need to accept his resignation on Wednesday?
Because it's not a resignation. I think he's not resigning. Instead, he's just he's making himself ineligible by
because he's not going to be in the borough. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. All right.
By the way, I said I'd start this tomorrow. I will not. I'll start this on Friday. I am off tomorrow, but if anybody needs me, I will be accessible by my cell phone or call the office and Jen will get me.
Okay.
Okay.
Enjoy.
Thanks.
Okay. Do we have any other comments from any council members?
I see by my little travels and journeys throughout the borough that the paving is coming along progressively. I see
Correct.
the lines are in the road on a lot of the roads. So that's a
Milling
good
should
sign.
start by the end of the week.
Oh, very good. Okay,
Right, that's great.
good. All righty.
Mhm.
I wanted to make one comment as well, since we settled on the Sheridan Avenue field tonight. I know it came up that we had released the 10 by 10 portion from having to maintain that. I noticed when I was at Ackerley Field this past weekend that Little League has named Field 4 there. There's a banner on the back of the dugout now that says Dave Parker Memorial Field.
Oh, very nice.
So I thought that was just a nice gesture by them, and they should be commended for that.
Yeah, very good.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
Yeah.
That's something I wasn't aware of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to that point, there still is the not the marquee, the sign,
Scoreboard.
the scoreboard.
Yeah.
So Dave, and if you have any ideas or thoughts as to how we could, the developer said that it's ours for the taking.
Maybe Josh could approach the Little League down there and see if they're interested in it, just for purposes of having the original scoreboard. I don't know. They may even find a use for it.
I could ask them, sure. Even if it's inoperable, maybe they just want it for.
Yeah. Just because.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could ask. I know some of the board members, so I can ask them.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, Josh.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
No motions. It's a work session.
Session. And we'll do our public meeting next week by way of Zoom, right? Correct.
And I'll
Madam
send out
President?
the invitations
Okay.
again next week, like I did tonight,
And
like I
then,
did today.
and then for the August work session, it won't be a work session. It'll be a special meeting. We'll do the interviews prior to the special meeting, and the time will be based on how many applicants we get.
Okay. Now that you said we have our own Zoom account, do we change the identification at every meeting, or what we did tonight, that'll be the same on meetings going forward?
You'll get a new invitation for every meeting,
Oh, okay. All right.
okay?
Okay,
Because
very good.
the numbers change every time we do a meeting.
Okay.
The link to go and review the meetings, or for anybody that wants to watch it on YouTube, will be the same,
Okay. All right.
okay?
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Thank you, everybody, and
Okay.
we'll see you next week.
Make sure your windows are
Bye.
rolled up.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
exactly.
All right. Good night. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye.
Here.
All right, Kevin. Thank you.
Thank you.